Alright, so watch me as I deadlift. This is me getting into position without pulling the slack out of the bar. So the weight has to break off the floor and then come up. Now this is me pulling the slack out of the bar before I deadlift. So I want you to pay attention to the differences between the right side and the left side. The left side is a picture of me not pulling the slack out of the bar, and the picture on the right is me pulling the slack out of the bar. Now, there's the two pictures that are up top. That's just kind of denoting where the barbell is going to be at when I lock out, which is technically the same position no matter where and what I do when I lock out. The distance between where the bar sits and to where it locks out is always going to be the same. But if you watch the bottom picture, that is where the differences are. And if you're trying to add more weight to the barbell as a power lifter to be stronger or to build more muscle in the future, then this might be something that's very crucial for you to apply. So if you watch the picture to the right where I'm pulling the slack out of the bar, you're going to see the red line above the green line. Now pretty much what the red line is where the barbell currently is, because I'm applying pressure or tension to bend the bar, and the green line underneath that is kind of denoting where the barbell should be if I wasn't pulling the slack out of the bar. And then if you look at the picture to the left of that, it's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is because I'm not pulling the slack out of the bar, the green line and the red line kind of overlaps each other. So my starting point for the left picture is a lot further down compared to the starting point of the right picture. And this is honestly the instant factor of what pulling the slack out of the bar already does, just because you understand the concept. Maybe 1.5 inches of you no longer have to deadlift the barbell the moment you decide to deadlift it. So if you watch, the triangle to the left is how much distance you still have to do to the left compared to the right. And in the right, you can kind of see the green line and the red line, and that little red dot where the space is at. That's the distance that I'm no longer having to deadlift the moment I pull. And that's going to be crucial just for overall efficiency in the deadlift. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm flexing my shoulder blades and my upper back and my traps together, very similar to what I do when I bench press. And if you watch, the moment I flex my upper back together, you can see the barbell already bending up. Now this is just me squeezing my shoulder blades and my traps and my back together. I haven't even started to pull the deadlift yet. So you can just see, just applying tension to your upper back already creates tension on the bar, because what it's doing is, because you're flexing your upper back up, that shortens your arm and that creates tension on the barbell already. Now, once my upper back is nice and tight and solid, this is where I slowly begin to kind of make my way down with my hips. And as I'm bringing my hips down towards the barbell, this is kind of where squeezing the barbell as hard as I can, and my arms are just now hooks. I've locked my triceps and my upper back in place, and now my arms are just hooks. So as I continue to stand up to straighten my body into the perfect position, the barbell is already literally coming up as I'm coming up myself. So the next thing I want to do is pretty much bring my hips down. And pretty much what I do as I'm bringing my hips down is I'm driving my feet into the floor, kind of spreading the floor apart. And as I'm doing that, when I'm bringing my hips down, I'm also intentionally flexing into my quads. So pretty much from this moment on, my feet, my calves, my quads are flexed into the floor, as if I'm trying to leave a hole into the floor where my feet's at, or whatever I'm standing on, I'm pretty much trying to spread it or crack it or split the earth in half. with my legs. And with that, as I'm bringing my hips down and I'm keeping tension in my feet, I'm also continuing to contract into my triceps where the red arrow is at, and I'm really flexing my triceps hard. And I'm going at a slow pace, as I'm standing up, because if I go too fast, you see where the blue box is, I'm going to lose tension in my stomach. So as I'm standing up, I'm keeping tension in my triceps and my upper back by slowly going up. And as I'm slowly going up, I'm flexing my feet, digging my feet into the floor, maintaining that tightness I have in my arms, so my arms literally stay hooked. I'm not pulling, I'm not doing anything besides just trying to get myself in the most upright position that I can be in right before I initiate the pull. And if you do it all correct and you're creating enough tension, and the warm-ups are still fairly light compared to your max, it should just literally fly off right off the floor right when you do everything correct. As you notice, the moment I get everything into position, the barbell is literally just coming all the way up until it slows down to the point where it's literally right at my knees. And this is kind of, again, not even me deciding to pull it yet. This is just me creating tension from technique. And what I want to do past this point is literally just reflex my knee by squeezing my quads and by flexing my glutes and hamstrings as hard as I can, at the same time maintain that upper body tightness all in one motion. And I know I'm in the perfect position to pull the bar is when I could feel the barbell roll into my shins a certain way. So I know I'm leaning too far back or I'm too upright when I feel like I'm losing too much balance and the barbell is kind of going into me versus in line with me. And I know I'm not on the bar just yet if the barbell isn't touching my shins. So the moment I come up and I feel the barbell sit and stand perfectly in line with me, that is the moment I know the barbell is in position. And when the barbell is in position, I do everything all at the same time. Spread the feet, flex my quads, hams, and glutes into that snap-like lockout that you see, on top of maintaining my abs, my chest, my arms, and my upper back together the best that I can. And as I lock in, I just make sure I'm able to hold that without the barbell going up and down. Now, what do I mean by getting into the perfect position, and what does it feel like when you're in the perfect position to pull? So as I'm standing upright, I know when I'm at the perfect position to pull, which is represented by the green line, is when the barbell and the point of my AC joint or my shoulder blade is directly right on top of the bar. So sometimes I think I even get into this habit of being too upright, and you can see where the red line is at, right? Sometimes my shoulder blade sticks back there where the red line is at, and when I do that, I get into a very awkward position where I'm no longer able to load the weight under my hips, and the deadlift becomes a lot more difficult than it should be, kind of like you're doing a deficit deadlift. Now, if you watch the blue line, this is usually where a lot of people do, where they don't keep the bar close enough to their body. So the direction that their deadlifts tend to end up going is kind of where the blue arrow is going, where they fall forward or their chest kind of falls forward. And vice versa for the red line, most people who lean too far back tend to fall backwards, which I have done a few times, meaning you shouldn't be too far back and too far forward. So how do we get to the point where we are at the green line? And I tend to do this based off of the way the barbell, the knurling, eats into my socks. If I'm too far back where the red is at, I feel like the barbell's jabbing into my shins. If I'm in the blue line where my shoulder blade is a little bit more forward, I don't feel the barbell on my legs. So I know the sweet spot where I try to get to every single time where the green line is at is gonna be right when I feel the barbell on my shins, but it's not actively pushing into me, but we are in line with each other. And right when I feel the barbell settle down to the point where the knurling of the barbell sits into my socks a certain way and I know that it's no longer going to move back and forth, then I initiate the pull by doing everything that you've seen previously with my pulls. And you can kind of see how nice 500 pounds or even heavier weights or less weights will look like if you do everything correct.